On the side, I got involved in journalism, like writing articles on sports and stuff, because sports interested me, so does politics. And about 10 years ago, I landed on a local free publication in Buffalo called Sports and Leisure Magazine. Started writing pro wrestling.
Jack really loved all this wrestling, and he'd go to all these different events, and I just kind of thought that he should be doing something else than that, quite frankly. And I think I told him that, but, because I wanted to see him spend his time in what I thought was more productive stuff, really from his writing perspective. He'd obviously write for the newspaper, and his articles were always excellent, and I just wanted to see that in a different area. Because I enjoyed the wrestling. I can't say I'm a big fan of it. So I was hoping that he would direct his energies in an area where maybe it could be more productive for him, either professionally or whatever.
We were all into wrestling a little bit, but Jack just took it to another level.
But I was appreciating it on a whole different level. And it's one of those things like when you're 8 or 9 years old, intellectually you can accept it. Okay, yeah, some of the stuff sounds over the top, but still at the time you wanted to believe, maybe I'll find out it really is real. You ever meet those guys, it really is real. People just tell them it's fake, whatever. And I just had all these questions, like what was going on behind the scenes? Okay, we know they know who's going to win. We know they're not trying to hurt each other. But how do they make it look like most of the time they are body slamming each other? They're jumping off the top rope. How do they plan who's going to be champion, who's not? You can't have the good guys as champions all the time because people will be bored. You can't have the bad guys as champion all the time because then people will eventually get turned off and frustrated. The whole inner workings, it was like a mystery to me.
Jack was always into it, but we never really knew that, it was to the level that he would actually make somewhat of a career out of it.
I just, I wanted him to do something what I thought was better with his talents.
Hello again, wrestling fans, and welcome to Buffalo Championship Wrestling presents Wrestlevision. I'm Ivan the Impaler. People have asked me how I developed the wrestling journalism name Ivan the Impaler. I went with Ivan for a couple reasons. Number one, it's Russian and Ukrainian for John. That being my legal name, that seemed obvious. Second, Impaler, there's a lot of alliteration in wrestling nicknames.
Come on in, Ivan, from Buffalo. Ivan the Impaler, he's back.
Scotty, what a pleasure it is to be back here on Wrestlevision 2.0. 2 weeks in a row. I appreciate the fact that you invited me back here. And what a show to be on.
Well, first you hear the name Ivan the Impaler, and this is wrestling. You think you're going to see this big, burly, nasty, spitting, swearing kind of guy, and then you got Ivan, who looks like he could jump into a tube sock without touching the sides.
I used the name for the first time when I started writing for Sports and Leisure magazine. I was an attorney, and I was a little skittish about having my real name attached to something in professional wrestling. The whole taboo and people thinking I'm more dumb than I really am. I started writing basically because I wanted to get into baseball or hockey, so I figured that would be my into it. For reasons I'm not sure, it kind of took off because there was an audience for wrestling. Nobody was really writing about it. Wrestling was hot at that time. This is around 1997, 1998. Then through a freak series of circumstances, the local regional sports network, Empire Sports Network, decided to start a wrestling show, and for God knows what reason they contacted me. They were going to do a segment on their daily sports show about pro wrestling, and nothing in particular. And they called me, would I want to do it, and I said, sure, I'm a ham, I have an eagle, I'd like to be on TV. So I put on sunglasses just to give more of a mystique. Bobby, I can only quote the words of Pat Benatar, who once said, I believe there comes a time when everything just falls in line. You live and learn from your mistakes. The biggest hand is dealt by fate. And with the other hand, you smash the guy in the head with a Singapore cane, because this is wrestling. None of this Bobsy twin dress-alike kind of stuff anymore. We're going to talk about pro wrestling and a bunch of stuff, Bobby, a bunch of stuff happening this past week. So I was on for about 10 minutes. It was kind of fun. What I didn't know at the time, they didn't tell me, it was kind of an audition that they had at that point had been thinking about doing some type of wrestling segment, maybe not a regular show, but some type of segment. And then about 3 months later, I got a call from them saying, asking if I'd be interested in doing a weekly segment.
Hey, it's the place to be Tuesday nights right here on the Empire Sports Network. From the top rope, as Ivan the Impaler and Bobby the Brawler give you all the inside information on the world of pro wrestling. Tuesday, 9:30, Empire Sports. Be here.
More importantly, I would actually get money for it. Not a lot, but still, it was like, wow, that makes me a professional broadcaster. Maybe not a broadcaster, but a professional something. They had a nightly segment called Fan TV where they'd have a recap, a couple guests, some in studio, some via phone, and the general rule of thumb was every Tuesday would be wrestling night.
My first impressions of Ivan the Impaler were the television screen.
I was sitting in college, I believe it was freshman year, watching the Empire Sports Network, which is now defunct.
I was like, who's the skinny, weird-looking guy over here by the ring? Says, oh, that's Ivan the Impaler. He's got a TV show.
And I thought to myself, who is this gangly cracker?
I was like, who is this big, lanky, goofy-looking guy talking about wrestling with chopped-up sentences, stringing out words and sentences and paragraphs? And I was like, wow, this is very entertaining. So I started watching, and I watched the next week, and for however long it was on.
The goal was to get interviews with pro wrestlers. Now, I have to stress that pro wrestling was not exactly a media-friendly outlet. They wanted still to protect the secrecy of the business, even though most people knew what was going on and that the results were predetermined.
Well, I'm glad that you have the guts to tell me you appreciate it, huh?
Okay, well, let's
How about if we, can this interview? Hey, would you like to come to my house? My mom's cooking some spaghetti and meatballs and a little lasagna. Would you like to have some?
Wine, too? Get some wine?
And we got some wine. All good Italians always have a bottle of wine underneath the bed for those, good times. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
Come on, let's put this way.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Lasagna, the cameraman? No, that's not us. Okay, we're done, guys. We'll see you. What about the calzones? Got those, too?
We got calzones.
Oh, man, let's go. Come on. We would take calls from fans across the Empire viewing region.
Say hello to Terry. Terry, welcome to From the Top Rope.
Hey, Terry.
Hello.
Okay. Please turn your TV down if you can, Terry, and then go ahead with your question.
You can talk or watch on TV. You can't have both, Terry. What's your question?
My question is, who do you think is going to win between The Rock and Kurt Angle and between Rikishi and Stone Cold?
Stone Cold, all right. Yeah, that's happening at the pay-per-view. Unfortunately, there was a segment of the crowd who they still weren't quite sure that it was sports entertainment and not wrestling. Little kids, it's, I try not to build up unrealistic expectations of little kids about what's going on, like kind of hint to them that this is not real, but still, if they're clear believers, I didn't want to burst their bubbles. It's kind of like Santa Claus and Tooth Fairy type of thing. With adults, I had a little less patience, but you run into some people who were just obsessed with wrestling and wouldn't shut up. Casey, let me ask you about wrestling. Name your 5 favorite wrestlers.
We got Muhammad Usad, woohoo! I got Chris Jericho, Benoit, Batista, and Triple H.
Andre the Giant.
It was died in France, Grenoble, France. His heart was too big.
Louis Spicolli.
Drug overdose.
Wahoo McDaniel.
And heart attack. He had diabetes problems too.
Kerry Von Erich.
Kerry Von Erich got shot himself in the chest, suicide.
How old was he?
33.
Chris Von Erich.
It was he had an intestine problem.
Something like that. Something internal. Mike Von Erich.
Yeah, it's like suicide.
David Von Erich.
Suicide.
Kevin Nash.
Kevin Nash still alive.
Yeah, but his career is dead, so I guess that counts. All right, well, Ron Paul, thank you very much. And you're not only a wrestling fan, you're a gentleman. I think you're a smart man. You're taking the high road. You have to. You have to be.
Because it's very important. Because if you hurt somebody or something, you could get sued or something.
That's right. Those lawyers, they're awful. They're awful. They're bad people. They're bad people. Ron Paul, thank you very much. Let's say thank you to the fans on 3. Okay, it's on 3. Yes. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you, fans.
You know what? You were right. I didn't say fans. So let's do it one more time. We're gonna say thank you, fans on 3. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Thank you, fans. It was kind of interesting. People from outside Western New York calling. Some names I recognized, some voices I recognized, but others I didn't.
I would often chime in on his show using aliases. Maybe Leo from Lakeview, Frank from Farnham, Billy from Blaisdell. Sometimes I think Jack knew who it was, that it was me. Other times I don't think he was so sure. I think he thought it was actually that he actually had some fans.
Let's talk to Michael in Burton. Hello, Michael.
Ooh, yeah. Ivan, how you doing?
Okay, was that a Hogan ooh yeah or a Randy Savage ooh yeah?
Randy, Macho Man.
Okay, you got it, tough guy. What's up?
He's a huge supporter of independent wrestling. Who in this area, in upstate New York, doesn't know who Ivan the Impaler is? I mean, he knows all the wrestlers. He writes columns for the wrestlers.
I would start mentioning local shows now and then. So that built up some, I guess, some publicity for them.
New Millennium Wrestling fans in Rochester, next Saturday, they'll be at the Ukrainian home in Webster for another show. That's Saturday, I believe the 28th, at 8 o'clock, 7:30 actually in Rochester.
And I'm not claiming to have done a lot, but I did bring some awareness.
And we all appreciate it. I mean, he's a great guy.
The Empire Sports Show, the segment being called From the Top Rope, aired from approximately October 1999 till about spring of 2001.
Who knows, but it's going to be part of an angle. Very interesting way to see what's going.
All right, we're going to have much more. A second segment of From the Top Rope Live exclusively here on the Empire Sports Network. Stay right where you are.
This is the Kiwi from WCW, and you're watching From the Top Rope on the Empire Sports Network.
After that, and I can't remember the exact time frame, I asked him, I said, hey, maybe a radio show. And the thing I used to catch, to try and catch him with it, people won't have to look at my face now. They just hear my nasally voice. Half the torture's gone. As it turns out, there were two people working at the station who were wrestling fans, and they had been thinking about starting a wrestling station. Kind of threw the three of us together and said, okay, let's give it a shot. So our first guest was a wrestler who I admittedly had never heard of before. His name was Supreme. That was one of my first experiences, like asking questions of a wrestler, me and Chris. And I really didn't know anything about this guy, other than the fact that he had been body slammed through a burning table, and he caught on fire. Now, no matter what wrestlers tell you, they really don't want to be caught on fire when their body slammed through a burning table. Even Supreme, not the Supreme or Supreme Grabowski, Supreme, he had enough humor to recount the story that when the ringside attendants noted that something was amiss, there's a guy with a fire extinguisher, and the guy with the fire extinguisher panicked and started putting the table out first. Meanwhile, Supreme's flesh was charring. He was able to laugh about it in retrospect. I don't think he was too happy about it that night. Then a couple months down the road, the people from Buffalo Championship Wrestling approached me, and they said they were going to start doing a cable TV show and wanted to know if I wanted to do color commentary. Now, this to me was like, wow, wrestling commentary. And that's where I met Joe Todaro. He was putting together the TV packaging, and he was going to do the play-by-play. And we did our first actual taping, I believe, at the Old First Ward Irish Center in South Buffalo. The first taping was the first time I met Joe. We got along pretty well. We seemed to work together pretty well on play-by-play and commentary. I thought he had introduced himself as Joel. So I kept calling him Joel, and everyone thought, haha, that's funny, it's a joke, I'm mispronouncing him a la Bobby Heenan. It was after we taped the first episode, and we're going to tape the second, that he informed me that his name really was Joe and not Joel. Everyone thought I was being funny, but I thought the guy's name was Joel. So after we cleared up that little thing, things seemed to go pretty well. After we filmed things on camera, we did some studio skits, vignettes to set up the matches. I guess that was my first foray, for lack of a better term, into trying to do comedy. I stress trying to do comedy. How successful it was, I don't know.
Anyway, I guess if you're starting a federation, you gotta have a champion, right? You gotta have a champion at some point. What's the federation have a champion? And we do have the BCW Niagara Frontier Heavyweight Championship belt, which I'm holding here in this very hand.
The Buffalo Bisons came up with the concept of doing wrestling events after baseball games at the stadium in downtown Buffalo. Chris Hill, who was director of marketing, went to me and said, look, we're thinking about taping these matches. Would you be interested in doing commentary? I found out that The guy I had in mind was Scotty Bender from Wrestlevision.
I got to do commentary with Ivan, and it was an experience. But the first time I met him, again, was the first ballpark brawl together. We actually were not at ringside doing commentary. We were actually up in a booth, and we had to actually do a live set to the audience before the show, and I was a little nervous. And Ivan stepped up, and I basically kind of asked Ivan to do the live, more of the talking, because I wasn't really comfortable at that time, really doing a lot of in front of people type things, and I was a little nervous. So Ivan took the ball on that and ran with it.
1, 2, 3. Jim the Anvil Neidhart, your winner. Looks like Jimmy Hart turned the tables on Johnny Puma. Jim Neidhart came out, joined Jimmy Hart. Fuck. There we go. I know. I'm just going to, that's all I'm saying. Jim Neidhart, your winner. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Jim the Anvil Neidhart, your winner. Ivan, what a match.
What a match, just over 3 minutes. Jim the Anvil Neidhart, who in my opinion, Scotty Bender, has never looked in better shape.
But I'd have to say, I thought the commentary was really good, and got a lot of compliments actually from Chris Hill and other people who heard it. And from that point on, me and him have done a lot of matches together, and that was the start of it. And I was really pleased with doing commentary with him. His style was a lot off the wall. He does a lot of innuendos, a lot of things, there's a lot of political statements, and I'm not really into politics, so I didn't understand half the stuff he said. I just, yeah, okay, that sounds great, But, looking back, but, for the most part, I thought it was, for getting together for the first time, throwing together, and the matches that we were able to call were really kind of big matches, and it worked out pretty well.
Everything kind of worked out well, and that's the first time I really met in any depth the Wrestlevision crew of Big Joe and Scotty Bender.
Buff the stuff!
What?
Bagwell!
Bagwell is here at the Ballpark Brawl 2.
They never told me he was going to be here.
The stuff! Buff Bagwell. Still wearing that funny top hat.
They had the graphics ready. They never told me Buff Bagwell. Patino, Tadaro, what are these production guys doing? We should be on the same wavelength. We should be ahead of production. I didn't know Buff was going to be here.
He looks great.
He looks in great shape. I mean, look at the ladies flocking to the ring rail, going after Buff. I mean, much the way they used to do after me when I had some body size. But I can't believe Buff Bagwell's here in Buffalo.
Eventually, they began to use me on taping Wrestlevision. It started with me doing color commentary on some of the matches they would film. And they would go to various matches, not only in Rochester, but also Buffalo and Southern Ontario.
Answer me, Bender. I need an answer. Do you want some cheese, by the way? I want some cheese for the buffet table. You want some? No. It's fresh.
The studio vignettes, which Big Joe, for the most part, wrote and produced, that was the comedic element to it. And then again, Sky and I seemed to play off each other really well.
Wrestling fans, I want to thank you for joining us this week right here for Wrestlevision. I'm your host, I'm Scotty Bender, and my co-host this week, Ivan the Impaler, driving all the way from Buffalo, New York, through a blizzard, I might add. Ivan, thanks for joining us here.
Scotty, it's a wonderful pleasure for me to be here on Wrestlevision. I can sense the excitement, the anticipation, everything that's going to happen here today. So I'm just going to say, as a famous person once said, let's drop it like it's hot. And eventually, when it came to color commentary, and I had a series of circumstances, I just gradually became more or less the permanent color commentator.
What right did John McChesney, big league John McChesney, have to interfere in this match?
He tried to take him out in the parking lot 3 weeks ago,
But
Ivan!
this is not his fight!
I disagree.
Which meant we were living the wrestling lifestyle, filming the best independent wrestling to bring to you, the television viewers of Western What
threw that chair into his face like a Steve Carlton fastball, Scotty Bender.
Ivan, how do I say about Ivan? I love Ivan. Looking back on it, you don't realize until it's over that me and Ivan did a lot of filming together, and a lot more than probably some of these sitcoms you see that people do on regular television. I mean, we and Ivan probably did over 100 episodes.
Wrestlevision was good in that it allowed us some artistic freedom, yet while focusing on broadcasting wrestling.
Scotty, if you can come over here. I know you
take criticism that we are not serious about wrestling. You take that kind of to heart. Can you tell the people why?
I do. We're in our third season here. We've expanded out to Buffalo, and I take wrestling very serious. I'm on the road 3 weekends a month, traveling, going to wrestling shows, meeting up with legends in the business, and I take it very serious.
I always had fun with the Ivan episodes where we did mailbag.
Wrestling fans, I want to thank you for joining us this week here on Wrestlevision. Ivan, this week it's my favorite episode. Well, one of my favorite episodes. We open up the old mailbag. It's viewer mail.
Letters, emails, telegrams, Scotty Bender. I'm just proud and happy that you invited me to be here as part of this magnanimous occasion, the segment that you like to call viewer mail.
Ivan, we're up to letter number 3. Letter number 3 comes to us from Rich J. in Avon, New York. Hey guys, great show. Any ideas for the future? What about expanding into radio? Ivan, you have a radio background. Why don't you take this one?
Wow, Rich, I gotta tell you, radio is one tough business. Scotty, so many things can happen to in radio. I mean, you can have your job one week and have it taken away from you the next. The station ownership could get indicted, go bankrupt, and the station folds and goes to an all 60s late rock format. You can be stuck with some doofus know-it-all co-host who just thinks he's God's gift to the world because he got his name mentioned in some overrated wrestler's book. But most of all, Scotty, radio is about this. Climb every mountain, ford every stream, climb every mountain to live your radio dream.
I like the Ivan episodes when we would take something from reality and put it into a spoof. So we basically tried to make Ivan we took these National Enquirer stories and we put them into Wrestlevision. And Ivan was always the David Hasselhoff drunk eating a sandwich or yelling at his daughter for not calling or, the governor, or Spitzer, cheating on, with the madam and stuff. So I had fun doing those episodes.
Well, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to fly out there. I'm going to stretch your ass. I'm going to stretch you out all day. Then we're going to get on a plane. I'm going to come back home. No, you know why? Because you never return my calls. Because you are a rude, thoughtless little pig, Scotland. You are a rude, thoughtless little pig. Early 2008, we worked upon the idea of I should make a presidential run.
Ivan, you've got a huge announcement. Just go ahead with it. I mean, I've been waiting all day to hear it, so go ahead. What's the big announcement?
Scotty Bender, for once in my life, I will cut to the chase. Scotty, wrestling fans across the world, and loyal viewers of Wrestlevision, you will be the first to know this. I have formed an exploratory committee to look into the possibility of me, Ivan the Impaler, running for president in 2008. So we ran a series of 30-second ads. One of the ads, for reasons unknown to me, got picked up by some political website about third-party candidates. And I really couldn't find the original link, but I get the impression that they thought or were pretending that it was a serious run by some third-party candidate, and so it got quite a few hits on YouTube. Canada, our friends, our allies, our neighbors, and where they least expect it, our 51st state.
Every once in a while I'll be flipping the channels and, you get some obscure cable channel and there he is, Jack, Ivan the Impaler, doing his thing, and me and my wife just sit there and just laugh.
I don't know if I'm qualified to do that. I mean, I haven't carried a torso away since my first ex-wife disappeared.
I do feel, for the most part, when Ivan is out in a group of people, like after wrestling shows, or he likes to be Ivan the Impaler. He likes the attention. He likes to have a good time. But there's times that I've had personal moments with him as Jack Godzuk.
You can obviously see the traces of Jack and Ivan.
Wrestling fans, welcome to Wrestlevision this week. And this week, it's a Wrestlevision Roundtable. And I am joined by two esteemed and honored guests. First, I'd like to introduce Ivan the Impaler.
Scotty, great to be back. It's a wonderful opportunity for us to discuss the old times and all the wonderful things we've seen on Wrestlevision.
And can you do me a favor? Can you take those freaking glasses off? We did that bit last week.
Oh, I still have them on. Wow, that's why I had so much trouble driving around the city this week. Couldn't see a darn thing.
Everything from his mannerisms to the way he speaks to obviously his strong opinions on particular issues.
I saw a different version of Jack when he was Ivan, but it was Jack. I mean, Jack's talented. He's talented and and creative.
That's not acting, what he does on TV. That's the way he is.
Cameras helped a little bit, but Ivan would still do this. I've seen Ivan out at their wrestling parties dancing and doing the same old thing,
I'm excited about this week's show. It's actually your idea what we're going to do this week. So why don't you let the fans out there know what this week's show is about?
I'd be more than happy to do that, Mr. TV announcer Scotty Bender. You know, the concept, or shall we say the premise for today's show is this. I love improvisational comedy. And you know what that is? You know, you have two people, someone throws a scenario at them, and they act out the scene.
Okay.
A comedy scene, and you kind of improvise or ad-lib your lines as you go along.
So there's no script.
Basically, that's the key of improvisational comedy.
Okay, I think I'm
no
getting it.
script. So we're flying by the proverbial seat of our pants, and I just think it'd be fun for you and me to try this today, and I think it will be comedy gold for our fans out there in TV land.
Okay, I'm up for anything. I'll give it a shot, but how do you win? Like, how do we decide who wins?
Well, there really isn't, unlike some TV shows, there's really no winner in the true spirit of improvisational comedy,
All right.
Scotty. We just act it out for the entertainment and value of our fans. The winners are the audience at home.
Oh, I get it.
This was definitely a good time in the locker room, behind the scenes, even at the bar after party. I remember there was a little so-called Philly from Florida that gave him a little lip lock one night at the bar.
After one of the shows at the Irondequoit All-Star Sports Arena, we went over to this restaurant and had dancing and everything like that. And actually, Ivan beat me in dancing. I was going for like 20 minutes, and I'm pulling every cheap trick out. And Ivan got out there, and he blew me away. You know what I mean? I'm just like, last person I ever expected to beat Chip Stetson at a Great American Dance-Off, and I'm pretty kooky when I do that, was Ivan the Impaler. I'm like, come on, you know what I mean? And he actually dissed me and like got the standing ovation.
Basketball game, you got to throw the ball in the hoop. Wait! Cody Deaner!
Cody Deaner, New Vision Pro Champion!
Yes, it is.
Are you working the booth?
Of course, it's my day job.
Wow. You know, I want to play basketball.
Want to do it?
Can I play the basketball toss?
Yeah, you can. You can play the basketball.
Get in there. Show what you
All
got.
you gotta do is get three balls in.
Okay, I'm not sure how this works. I got only American money. We're here in Canada Day.
That's right, Canada Day.
This means it's $7 Canadian.
It costs $1 Canadian.
Okay, $1.
So in American, that's $5. So that works.
So $5 American.
$5. All right, here you go. All you gotta do is throw this ball in this thing.
Go on,
right
Ivan.
here.
Show what you got, buddy.
3 times.
3 times you gotta make?
3 times. It's easy.
All right.
Hey man, you don't gotta be talking. You just gotta shoot.
All right, Ivan. Let's go. Come on, 3 and get your prize. Let's
Here we go. 3 and get your prize.
First shot for Ivan the Impaler. Yes!
1. That's easy.
Ivan,
Easy.
Ivan, 2 more.
Here we go. That's how easy this is, folks. This is easy. Step right up.
As a kid,
throw the ball in. That's easy.
I'm ice. I got ice in my veins.
Shot number 2.
There you go. Vinsanity. That's like Vince Carter right there.
Simple. Third shot. All right, Ivan.
Even gave you good
Come on,
exchange
Ivan.
on
Your
that
money. Let's
too.
go now, Ivan. Bring your prize home for Wrestlevision.
Oh, you missed. You missed,
I
Ivan.
thought it was going in there.
You missed.
That was it.
I thought there was.
You missed. This is a regulation ball, and you missed. You're
thought
right here.
It's like it was in. I thought. And
All you had to do was you could have won this pink pony.
Oh, shoot.
And you didn't. You lost. I guess you suck. Cody Deaner said you suck, Ivan. You should probably leave my booth. Anybody else want to play the game?
Actually,
It's all fair.
It was terrible.
See how easy it is? Right there.
When Ivan comes to the station, it is excitement. You never know what's going to happen or what you're going to get.
He'd either come very, very early or he'd be late. It was never on time. He was either very early, showing up at 3 in the afternoon when he had to be there at 5, or he was supposed to be there at 5 and he would call at 5 and say that he hasn't left, he's on some throughway exit in, Goosepecker Heights on some payphone because he won't buy a cell phone. Ivan, buy a cell phone, okay? Please.
I was impressed with what he's wearing. I'm not the most fashion-forward individual, but I don't know. He seems oblivious to like everything he's wearing, but maybe he doesn't care. I mean, sometimes he's got 2 different socks on. Sometimes he's dragging, a shoelace for the entire day.
Brother, you've got the face that only a mother could love. You've probably considered
suicide several times.
I am on medication. Yeah, I am on medication.
There's no hope for you, really. Why don't we do this the rest of the commercial?
So, if you could, Slick, tell us, you were at WrestleMania last year, part of WrestleMania 23 backstage. What was the scene like there?
I guess when I got to know him, I found out how nuts he was.
He adds a lot to the show. Any show with Ivan on it's a lucky show. He can pull out facts and figures from 30 years ago that I would, with a book in front of me, I couldn't pick it out on a page.
I think Ivan the Impaler is like a wrestler's thesaurus.
And these two are very familiar with each other from Ring of Honor. But again, the undercurrent here, CM Punk, the current Ring of Honor champion, he has signed a WWE contract. He will be starting with WWE very soon. You don't turn your back on Homicide, Bender. He has hurt many, many a man.
He has all this these facts that you would never remember, like facts from before he was even born, which had to be 150 years ago.
But the other thing here, I find this ironic. I don't know about you, Jimmy Olsen. Brody is from Huberville, British Columbia, yet Ron Falco is from Charlotte, North Carolina. Seem to be cheered more by the fans. Kind of an interesting juxtaposition here on Canada Day in Canada.
He adds a level of humor. Of course, he does tell a lot of jokes that only he gets.
Hey, Scotty. What? Want to ride that donkey? Want to ride that donkey? Want to ride that donkey? Donkey. Want to ride that donkey? Donkey. Want to ride that donkey? Huh?
Look, it's a camera. It's a TV camera.
His sense of humor is kind of, it's a little dry, but, you don't know how to take him.
Hi, Mr. Camera.
I still this day don't have the spontaneity that he has. I have to have a good time, and I'm still like to, okay in front of people. But Ivan's spontaneity in putting himself into a position, sometimes even when he makes himself look foolish, but it's still funny. And there was a bum who was collecting money, and you could sing a song with him, and Ivan threw some money in with his Fred Sanford shirt on.
Did a nice little rendition of the Ray Charles song, What I Say, along with the world's greatest wino.
Diamond ring, she knows how to shake that thing all right.
All night long.
All right.
All night long.
All right.
He started dancing with the bum and singing and stuff like that with him. It was great. It was an actual great segment, and I give him credit for that. He had the balls to do a lot of stuff that, at times, he made look foolish, but that was Ivan.
Ivan takes his shirt off a lot, and he's not the type of guy that probably should be taking off his shirt.
This is Muscle Beach, and he's taking his shirt off, and Ivan's as big as these light poles. He didn't care. It was stuff that we had fun doing, and sometimes I didn't have the balls just to, just say, who cares? I was just going to go and do it. I was more self-conscious.
In this day and age, what probably drives me nuts about the business is the people that get into it or are in it for a while put themselves on that high pedestal of thinking that they're better and above people. That's not Ivan. He's passionate, considerate, and professional. In this business, you don't see it very often. And that's what, epitomizes him.
I know that it's not a respected passion, unfortunately. It's something that it's laughed at. People don't understand how I feel about wrestling or he feels about wrestling, and I respect him for that. If me and Ivan pooled all our money together and how much money we made commentating, not much. But we did it because we loved it.
Scotty and Ivan really enjoyed the show. Thank you. You guys are awesome. What do you do for fun? Kaylee B from Horseheads wants to know what you and I do for fun.
Fun?
Yeah.
I think we've had fun.
Yeah, we have fun. We do a lot to have fun. It's hard to kind of pin it down on what exactly we do to have fun.
We've had fun, but what?
What kind of fun? Let's think here.
Hey, on page 22.
22?
Yeah.
Okay.
Stevie G's Diner. Eggs, toast, and coffee, $1.99. Huh.
Now my 22 is Leva Salon, $5 off any service of $20 and up. First time visit only.
It said 22?
Mm-hmm. Well, I have the Victor. Which one do you have?
Oh, no, I got the Gates Chili one. I left the Hamburg one at home too.
Did you? Yeah.
Road stories? Yeah. There were quite a few of them. Up in Canada,
we were kind of lost and we needed gas. So we pulled over.
They had the old style gas pumps.
And we all got out of the car to stretch our legs. We're all standing around talking.
Which we didn't know that, but as soon as you turned them on, it would start to pump gas.
And Joe pulls the gas thing out. It's like a Steven Seagal movie.
There's gas spraying all over us. If someone would have lived a match, we all would have been history.
There was gas flying everywhere. Everyone's getting doused with gas.
It's even more problematic when you're going back into the United States in the post 9/11 era.
Probably thinking we're suspects here, terrorists, because we're coming across, oh, these guys smell like gasoline, you know, and we're all packed into this car together.
Strangely enough, we got to the border. We quickly produced our IDs and miraculously got through. It was sometime early 2008. Big Joe and Scotty Bender approached me about starting their own promotion, wrestling promotion, which would be geared towards television. There was a lot of wrestling talent here in Rochester, Buffalo, and Southern Ontario. And wrestlers naturally, we thought, would want to be on TV, give themselves some exposure. One of the guys we brought in to wrestle was Sick Rick Matrix. Matrix, a very good mat wrestler, kind of old school. He believed in the old traditions and mores of the sport. He is very intense in the ring, sometimes too intense.
Matrix is decimating the mayor from the PFC.
Rick is not known for working light in the ring. He works stiff, which means that the more real it looks in his mind, the better.
He's got that chair trapped around his neck.
Rick also could step into one of the major wrestling productions right now, and he would be, I don't want to say as good of a talker as anybody they have there, but he'd be darn close.
You gotta have the belief in yourself that you want it better than anybody else. You for T Justice has got nothing on Sheriff Sick Rick, Jack. I get up every morning, I take a shower, I take my old bump right in the shower just to get geared up for the day, baby. I've been sleeping in my closet for the last 5 months, chomping at the bit after I got the phone call to come here to Pier 6. And I'll be damned if I'm gonna let some tall drink of water take out one of my buddies. Let it be the judge, let it be the jury, let it be Cody Dieter's execution, Jack.
One time grabbing the microphone, coming behind us, up behind the podium, and he was bleeding, takes the microphone from me, and I said, okay, this is the guy obsessive compulsive about germs. I've got wrestler blood dripping on me, but it was still good TV.
I've got nothing to add.
Neither do I.
Hey, one more thing. I don't mean to ignore you, because I love you too. I don't ignore you, I love you, okay? Know your role and know your place. Right here, baby.
Pier 6 Wrestling. That's what it's all about.
Fans!
When Pier 6 Wrestling imploded, I just kind of wanted to take a break from wrestling. I was getting more interested in ultimate fighting and mixed martial arts. But, to paraphrase from Godfather 3, just when I thought I was out of the business, they pulled me back in. NWA Upstate started with No Limits TV, filled ironically again in a bar.
1, 2, 3. Wrestling fans want to 1, 2, 3. Wrestling fans want to welcome you this week to another episode of NWA New York No Limits TV. I'm Scotty Bender, along with Ivan the Impaler.
Scotty, great to be back here. And if the fans at home didn't notice, we are dressed for a special occasion.
Yes, a special holiday is coming up, Ivan, and we're just trying to get in the spirit.
That's right. So to all you fans out there, we want to wish you a happy Take Your Daughter to Work Day. I ended up doing play-by-play, which was not my first choice.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a match, a semifinal match in our tournament to determine the #1 contender to Danny Doring's Upstate Heavyweight title.
And you know what? People should have stood up for Mr. Bobby Fish when he came out. He's an international superstar.
And had the Montgomery Man, Mo Mantha, doing color commentary.
I think our main goal when Ivan and I work together. Even if it has nothing to do with the wrestling match that's going on, our job is to make everybody else laugh. And that's why it's so fun to work with him.
Big Joe did his production magic, and altogether it was a good product. You know, human beings and pets, kind of a strange relationship. I mean, you know, we're people and they're animals. I mean, you say it to some people, they get offended, but animals are animals. It's true. I mean, it's and people's interaction with animals, right? It's so strange. Like, they'll talk to them. They'll treat them like people, especially dogs. You know, they give them names, pamper them, give them sweaters. And then they put a collar on them, like they're a slave, like they're a possession. Wasn't bondage and slavery outlawed by that George Washington guy? Yeah. Oh, yeah, whatever. Yeah, but yeah, some president. Yeah. Yeah, geez. But okay, how many guys we got in the audience? How many men? Okay. Okay, guys, let's be honest. And even if you're with a lady, let's be honest. Cats.
Ivan, Ivan getting under my skin, it was more of his quirky behavior that it really was. It wasn't he was a bad person. He just was very particular about things. And sometimes during shoots, he would just, I'd want to be getting done with it. I worked all day, like we all did, but I just want to get home. We were filming an episode of No Limits Television. We're at the end of the filming. I think we did 5 episodes, and we just wanted to get out of there. It was a long day. We wanted to get out of there. And he acted like Foster Brooks. He was trying to be a Foster Brooks character, drunk. And it just wouldn't stop. And it just got more vulgar. It just got more, it just went south. I don't know how else to explain it.
1, 2, 3. Wrestling fans, we're out of time this week here on No Limits TV. But before we go, Ivan, how was the Classic Cat? What happened? I thought last thing I knew, you and Gabe Saint were going to go shake his hand. What happened?
Me and Gabe, we went to the Classy Cat.
Right.
Yeah. It was great.
It was just, started off as funny. It went from funny to uncomfortable quick. Where me and Joe are looking at each other going, whoa, what's going on here? And he just wouldn't stop.
Let me tell you something I heard about Diamond. Diamond likes ketchup.
I bet she does.
She loves ketchup. Why do you keep hitting me? Why?
And that's how Ivan was. He just wouldn't stop. He'd get on something. He just done and wouldn't stop. And if he got a giggle or a laugh or a tee-hee or a hoo-hoo, it was on all night because he just, if he just entertained somebody, it was on.
You gotta pay if you want to play. You've gotta play to pay. What are you laughing at, Scotty? Oh, yeah, I've never seen you sick. You're garbage! I never really left the business. And by the business, of course, I mean the industry. In fact, superstar Rob Schultz and I, we recently hosted the Big Schmaz podcast together. Oh, okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, I don't even know what that means. Oh, because
he holds that pen the whole time.
Okay, yeah.
Because his hand is like...
Rob is running for office.
I'm running for office.
Which one?
You were running for office.
Yeah.
And now I'm running for office.
4.
I'm starting? Hey everybody, welcome to Wrestlevision Presents, a new podcast. This is the Big Schmaz podcast. I spent a lot of time with Ivan, watching wrestling, talking about Ivan not watching wrestling. So they're fighting, and that's going to happen. I wish more than one of us on the show watched the stuff, and then one of us wouldn't have to talk about everything. I could be like, hey, Ivan, what do you think about seeing this? And be like,
I was answering stuff.
You didn't see it.
Well, you're just telling people
no
I didn't
idea what
see
I'm talking about. They know. Everybody knows. Everybody knows you're not watching. Everybody knows. It's in the comments. It's in like the description. Like, everybody but Ivan watched this. It was a schmaz. A big schmaz.
We were the #1 English language wrestling-based podcast in Bangladesh. But by then the wrestling podcast scene got so saturated, it was time to move on. Plus, we were canceled. Champ said something.
I've been a miner for a heart of gold. It's this expression I never give. It keeps me searching for heart of gold, and I'm getting old. It keeps me searching for heart of gold.
Kevin Nash.
Kevin Nash still alive.
Yeah, but his career is dead. Scotty, where you been? There's no over for you.
I've been to Hollywood. I've been to Redwood.
It's a little odd.
I crossed the ocean for a heart of gold. I've been in my mind. It's such a fine line. It keeps me searching for heart of gold, and I'm getting old. It keeps me searching for heart of gold, and I'm getting old.
Mr. Godzuk, you are healed.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't say that. We can edit it out.
Keeps me searching for a heart of gold. Keeps me searching for a heart of gold. Keeps me searching and I'm growing old.
What in the world?
Keeps me searching for a heart
That's been fine.
of gold. Keeps me searching and I'm growing old. Keeps me searching for a heart of gold. And I'm getting old.
My name is Jack Godzuk. I had a heart transplant at Strong Hospital 5 years ago, and it gave me a second chance on life, an opportunity to do the things I never had the chance to finish. As time goes on, you get further away from the transplant. Sometimes you think about the gift you were given. You kind of minimalize it. You kind of take it for granted. You don't take the fullest advantage of every day. But now that there's, well, you realize now there's 200 people who have had that second chance. Thanks to the generosity of organ donors everywhere, you want to make people aware of the need to donate organs, and for those who have received an organ like me, to just really grab every day and seize it and live life to the fullest.
Okay, you got an easy pass? I got a guy. All the tolls you want, you'll never have to pay a dime.
No, I actually don't have an easy pass. I should get one. They're cracking down on that.
Oof. That didn't go down easy. All right, yeah, keep going. Keep going. We'll be all right. Stop.
Oh, yeah, I know. Red light, red light. We stop in the red light.